What's up, everybody? Welcome to another live stream. My name is Toby.
My name
Is heck about Bitcoin, and they see what's happening around the world, and they realize that if you don't hold your keys, you don't own those coins.
actually, what is it? The liquid supply of Bitcoin is now over it's like 3.2 times larger than the liquid supply of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So three times the amount of people, or three times the amount of Bitcoin is being held in cold storage rather than actively being traded on exchanges.
Yeah. So people are bullish as heck right now. And also, okay, so that Bitcoin is not banned in the EU yet. 30.
That's the news today.
Okay, so the votes
the votes are in.
32 against this whole thing, and then 24 were for it. Now, I don't know the names of the people that are for it. It'll be interesting to find those names and see what their backgrounds are and see their banking, like their banking investments and ties, and government ties and
quite a few.
Glassdoor ties. So, yeah. Anyways.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, we're new to living in Portugal, and obviously with the European Union, how this parliament works, the voting process, it's a little bit more indirect. I was informed by this by a lovely commenter on YouTube saying basically how in the EU, you vote for a politician and then the politician votes for who is making the decisions on these bills. So just again, to reiterate for you guys, the ban on Bitcoin and Ethereum in the European Union has been denied. It wasn't, fully denied. I mean, it was fully denied, but it was almost half and half. 24 were for it and 32 were against it. So maybe they're just testing the waters.
I think they're definitely testing the waters. And why does this matter in the EU? I'm going to go over a couple of facts. All right. So the EU has the highest number of Bitcoin and Ethereum nodes. And also, it has the largest share in crypto transaction volume. So it is pretty big. What has happened? This bill that didn't include banning Bitcoin, but we're not out of the water. We're not clear at all. This is definitely like Heidi said, testing the waters, see what people are, how they react.
They're getting you used to the idea.
Exactly. and here's an interesting quote from Alex Sharp on Twitter. He says, next they will say that only proof of stake protocols where validators are pre-registered with the EU authorities and are allowed to operate. Why wouldn't they? Ban on proof of work is already a red line. So I mean, of course, this is what happens. Like for instance, that one crypto bill in the U.S.
Yeah, the infrastructure bill.
Well, before that, there were bills, and now the infrastructure bill finally passed, and now you have more regulation that is coming through the.
But it was a similar situation. It was like they had really crazy language talking about banning mining in the U.S. and then they changed it to not include that, and then. Is that going to get passed? And it's like we keep saying, testing the waters. They're trying to do a boiling frog scenario with all of us here in crypto of, feeling scared that it's going to be banned and then feeling relief that it's not banned. And then it's always going to be there because they're always going to be on the wrong end of the disruption of this technology. They have a monopoly on their money supply, and to have a sovereign way to actually create your own wealth with government-free cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the others.
Exactly.
It's a big deal for them. And so, maybe they don't want a bunch of riots, but so they're just getting you used to it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like when I first started crypto about 9.5 years ago, there wasn't anything there was no KYC, no nothing. You could just set up an account or whatever. Now you have to the Face ID and all this stuff, and you have to turn your head and all that crap just because it's it helps, money launderers or whatever, or helps get rid of money launderers or whatever, like the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So
money laundering like started in 2009 when Bitcoin was launched.
Yeah, it just started. Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, they're making the barrier of entry even higher.
Yeah.
And they're never going to stop this. Like there's a reason why Heidi and I renounced our U.S. citizenship. It's not because we hate the U.S. We love our family there and friends there. We hate that government, like essentially hate it, like because they were going to kill crypto innovation and ingenuity and everything. And that's why you have people fleeing the U.S. The renouncements have never been so high, and to go to places like El Salvador, which is going to benefit so much. Any nation, even I think there's a town in Switzerland that made Bitcoin legal tender. So you're going to have so many people rushing, so much money flooding into these places. They're not. It's going to be something like you've never seen before, because money wants to go where that's least restricted, essentially. Yeah. And that's how it works. And it's going to leave the U.S. It's going to leave the EU and other nations like that behind. And if you're part of the U.S. or the EU, know that there are different ways to get second citizenships. And we've been telling people for years and years and years about second citizenships, how important it is to not have all your eggs in one basket. Essentially, your citizenship. If it's financial suicide, essentially, if you have all of your money in one country, especially a giant Western nation, which can shut off your bank account in an instant, as we've seen. I
mean, and you get a taste of that feeling when let's say you're a European citizen or within the European Union, and you're on the brink of, you can't buy or sell Bitcoin anymore on a centralized exchange, or, much less working with your bank account to exit or to enter using your fiat to buy Bitcoin, thinking like that trapped feeling. And you should take that feeling seriously, because I think it's just going to get slowly more restrictive as time goes on. I'm glad you brought up the other countries like El Salvador, and I want to get into that. But first, let's say hi to everyone in live chat. Cool. Thank you guys. We got people from all over.
Ricardo,
from Greece,
David, Arlino,
Virtual
from
Nomad. Spain, from Reunion Island.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard that's a beautiful, beautiful place, Reunion Island. I would surf there, but I heard there's a lot of sharks there. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, really?
Buenos Dias.
Oh, there must be good fishing there.
Tuna. Oh, for sure.
Get some tuna.
Nick. Crypto Learn, good to see you. Andrew, Cameron, Dragon Ball Crypto, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Archer Bullseye, good to see you. Thank you. DD, thank you for all the hard work you guys do.
Also, you guys, sorry for the mix-up with the time. I was unaware that the U.S. had the time change. So Portugal is going to do it in a few days, or in about 12 days. So we might have this issue again one other time, but hopefully I'll try to stay up on that so there's no confusion. But yeah, someone else talked about, how the EU was also banning, or did ban, Bitcoin ATMs.
The UK did that.
Was it the UK?
Yeah, the UK.
Sorry, I thought it was Europe for some reason.
I mean, if you understand, like the UK, it is a financial hub for bankers and central banks, like, of course they're going to do that. Bitcoin is the complete opposite of a central bank system. It's not going off of archaic technology as banks use. For instance, like try sending a wire transfer over a weekend, because I guess, money doesn't transfer over the weekend. Nobody's going to put up with their crap anymore. Nobody's going to put up with, I can't send this much money to a friend. I have to wait till the weekend is over or something like that. It's just not going to happen, especially with the millennials that are coming up and new generations that are seeing the ease of transfer of Bitcoin. And yeah, it's just like there's no comparison. So it is definitely a competition for central banks. And also, let me bring this up. Also, the El Salvador was kind of reamed from the IMF.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because the IMF is a dinosaur.
No, you can't do this.
Exactly.
It's not part of our plan.
Exactly. So the IMF, if you know their history, they are a bunch of esoteric parasites, in my opinion. So yeah, anything to get around their whatever is a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, with Bitcoin, it's permissionless, it's censorship resistant, and you don't have a bunch of people with ties that we have no idea that are working and printing a bunch of currency.
Yeah, interesting. This guy says, Jameson says, Thai crypto holders fought and won against similar regulation in Thailand before. That's awesome. And it's a reminder that, you can have a voice and, for maybe for Thailand, it was a little bit easier.
For me,
European Union is kind of bigger scale. I don't know. Sorry, we have a bunch of people saying hi from all their places:
Wisconsin,
Georgia, Wisconsin, Sacramento,
MG,
Switzerland,
Nathan.
Colombia, London, Mexico, UK, Norway, Belgium, Thailand, Malaysia, Netherlands, Amsterdam, Atlanta, Georgia.
Poland,
from
what's
the
up?
Azores,
Portugal,
Terceira Island, Azores. That's awesome.
Terceira. Yeah.
Terceira.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you guys. It's awesome. And from India. Okay. So let's talk about how basically what we're witnessing is the countries, if it's like the haves versus the have-nots. The haves would be like, the US, the UK, EU, these big westernized, successful, rich countries or legacy, they've had that in the past. And now we have other countries that see this golden opportunity where what did you say? Capital flight was increasing 9 days ago or something?
Oh, no.
Or that was Bitcoin leaving the exchanges.
Bitcoin leaving the exchanges.
But also capital flight from the EU.
Yeah.
Was increasing over the past, 2 days?
Oh, yeah.
And then depending on how this vote would have gone, that probably would have been exponential as well.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. Like you said, money goes where it's treated best usually.
Exactly.
Especially big money. So that's, I think, the dance that these governments have to play is, keeping the control that they want and also keeping the money in their country as well.
Well, it's essentially currency. So
apologies.
And people are like, okay, well, I'm hearing all these things of like Nancy Pelosi and Biden or whatever, the puppets over there that say, oh yeah, it's not currency printing that's creating all this inflation. It's something else, or Russia or whatever.
Boogeyman.
Boogeyman. And I'm just like, wow, that's really who's running the United States, like the puppets that are running the U.S. And it's quite amazing, like considering they have no idea. Either they have no idea, which I think they do have an idea, that inflation is caused by massive central bank printing, or they are just nefarious. And I would say the later. Yeah, for sure. You haven't seen anything yet with inflation, guys. Like nothing yet. It's really dangerous, and there's a lot happening around the world. And central banks do start wars to create a larger money supply or currency supply, and this is one of the main reasons why they do that. And because it's very easy for every time there's a war, essentially, there's a massive amount of currency printing. Look at what happened in Vietnam. Right after the Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, they had to do that to essentially afford Vietnam War. And boy, look at the currency supply and the inflation that hit after 1971. You won't even believe it. So that was the last nail in the coffin for the prior U.S. dollar. I think the U.S. dollar now was born in 1971, and we'll see how long it actually lasts in this form. Should be interesting because prior to 1971, it was gold backed. And yeah.
I mean, what Michael Saylor said in an article titled, if you guys want to check it out, on beincrypto.com, why Elon Musk has no plans to sell his crypto anytime soon. It talks what Michael Saylor actually said about inflation. He believes that the USD consumer inflation will continue near all-time highs, and asset inflation will run at double the rate of consumer inflation. And they're also talking about how this the truth of inflation hitting and the narrative of Bitcoin being an inflation hedge is proving itself to be, it's slowly turning into a risk on asset.
Yeah, I'd actually disagree with that too, with what Saylor says about the USD consumer inflation will continue at all-time highs. I agree with that. But I don't agree with this. And asset inflation will run at double the rate of consumer inflation. So CPI is pretty much consumer inflation.
Yeah.
Or at least the consumer price.
I think what asset inflation is like property, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're experiencing 106. Like last year, we experienced 165% on steel going up, and you had 125% on lumber, and now we have oil up like ridiculous 20%. You know, which is more than double the CPI essentially. So all the CPI. So when you see like the 7.9% inflation, what that is
just like triple it.
Yeah, at least triple it, because what the government does is they go, okay, so we're taking oil, or we're taking energy and food out of the equation. So nobody needs energy and food, okay? But they have like certain different things.
Nobody needs that to survive.
Yeah, they have a couple different things that they put in this little basket, which doesn't inflate very much. Like I think like Netflix and pizza or whatever, and they want you to believe that that's the real inflation, where that's absolutely not real inflation. And there's it's very much misleading, and that's it's misleading the U.S. The citizens in the U.S. for sure, especially those poor people that actually listen to their government and listen to mainstream media, which is unfortunate. Like they're going to get really hurt with inflation.
Yeah, there's also, getting back to the European Union and crypto and stuff. Yeah. You told me the interesting
statistics
of the amount
stats.
of mining for Ethereum.
Yeah.
Majority of the mining of Ethereum is happening in Europe.
Yeah.
And also, is it the transactions of all crypto, or is it also just Ethereum?
Right now, I just know that it's Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Bitcoin and Ethereum transactions. Yeah. Most of those transactions are taking place in Europe.
Yeah.
Unless everyone is using like a VPN and they're setting their IP for Europe.
Right. That could be it.
Because if you guys don't know this, even if you're doing peer-to-peer transactions with Bitcoin, some of the information included in it is your IP address. So,
and if you want a good VPN, Mullvad's great. It doesn't ask for your email. It doesn't ask for your credit card, which is what you want. If you have a VPN that asks for any private information, move on to the next one. It's worthless. It's literally worthless.
Yeah. Brian Morgan, I think you're the one who's always telling me to stop drinking out of my mason jar. But you give me a glass that can hold, how many is this? 1,000 milliliters of water, and I'll drink out of
Doing
that.
pretty good.
So anyway, who's the next country? Oh, okay, guys. I will be interviewing my other lawyer who helped me gain my second citizenship in St. Kitts and Nevis. Her name is Jennifer Harding. Her website is jhmarlin.com. And I'm going to be interviewing her because there have been some exciting updates also within the banking system and generally the change of heart for the government there and the central bank there against crypto. So when we first got our citizenship there, it was, my state of mind was like, okay, we're not going to necessarily bank here because I think they're pretty against crypto.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So that's really awesome to see more and more countries turning towards crypto as a solution. But one thing I do want to warn you guys against is I think what's going to come next, with all of these crypto regulations and new countries declaring themselves to be crypto friendly, is they might just be talking about launching their own CBDC, central bank digital currency. The first two words should be a dead giveaway.
Central bank.
So
Centralized.
There is a big difference between using Bitcoin as legal tender like they did in El Salvador and like you said, that city in Switzerland, and just launching their own central bank digital currency. Because if a government has launched their own blockchain, their own cryptocurrency, they love to mine your data. They love to know what you're spending your money on. They would love to be able to control that all the more. Capital flight. They can lock that down super easy. Taxes. They can withhold a lot of your payments unless you pay your taxes, for example, or something like this.
What happens if they want to spur the economy?
then they can put an expiration date on your coins and they will be worthless unless you spend them by a certain date, which is insane. So don't be too excited about CBDCs, that's my opinion. And really make sure you see the difference there between being, facilitating Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies versus launching their own. I think eventually every country that has a central bank will be doing their own CBDC. I think that's to be expected, but it'll be interesting to see if they all go as Orwellian as China does, or the U.S. probably will, or Europe. I think that's better.
I mean, it's totally Orwellian regardless of how people look at CBDCs. I mean, it's full control over your money, full control. You don't have your private keys. So that's what's so good about Bitcoin, how it came out of, the 2008 housing crisis pretty much, or the bank bailouts, and Bitcoin's just pretty much gives the middle finger to the banks and governments. Like, you know what, you had your chance, you blew it, and now we're having something much better. It's money for the people, and it's separating money from the state, which is definitely what we need. There's nothing almost more important on earth than separating your money from the state, because they will make you broke. Anyways, yeah.
Sorry, I was reading. Adam asked, did you have to travel to St. Kitts to get your second citizenship? No.
I've never actually been.
We've never been.
Which we will sometime. I heard it's beautiful.
It's about time we visit Jennifer in person. She came to Portugal a few years ago. We need to get back. Somebody
asked where I store my Luna in cold storage. Well, I don't. Okay. Essentially, it's terra.money.
Oh,
but
it's on your ledger.
It's on my ledger.
Terra Station is the interface that you use to interact with it.
Yeah, and I think staking Luna it gives you like 15% per year, and then you can go on USDT, and I forgot what they actually pay you out on, but USDT gives you or UST gives you 19.4%, which is pretty nice, and you actually. If you're the type of person that likes to see your money rise and rise and rise every minute or whatever, UST's anchor protocol is the thing, because you're just like, okay, every minute, I got maybe 1 cent.
Got really good returns.
It does, yeah. Mo, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
Also, Carlos Santos says, what is your advice for Europeans to use the crypto market if they vote against Bitcoin and Ethereum? So if that were to happen, and if you guys watched the video from yesterday, let's say there's all of a sudden a Binance.eu or, whatever, special barriers for you. If you go through the KYC, you're going to have to, if it's a centralized exchange and you're going to announce you're a European citizen, they're going to say, okay, you go in this lane of crypto and you can't buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other crypto that they deem to be not perfectly energy efficient. That would be your excuse. That would be your experience if you only know how to use centralized exchanges. But what you could do is whatever cryptocurrency that you could buy at that point, you could take it and trade it on a decentralized exchange. Or you could use Bisq.network is an excellent example of a true decentralized exchange. I've talked about it a few times. They also have an extensive FAQ section for those of you who are trying to figure it out. If you already have some Bitcoin right now, it's much more easy for you to go that route on that exchange. Because if you have a new account there, you basically have to build your reputation as not being a scammer or a thief or whatever. Also, Thor chain, the great one, cross-chain decentralized exchange. So you can trade native Bitcoin for native Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency that they're listing there. And it's relatively new. They've had some hacks last July. Everything since then has been fixed, and they have, in my opinion, a very skilled and they're competent dev team. So yeah, I have a lot of excitement for Thorchain as that one matures over time, and I think it's going to inspire a lot of other decentralized exchanges to try to do the same thing to facilitate this new millions of people who will be living in Europe wanting to buy and interact with cryptocurrencies And the most free way to do that is through decentralized exchanges. So might as well practice on bisq.network, thorchain.org. Also, there's so many on Ethereum. There's like probably at least 50 decentralized exchanges to use on Ethereum. Yeah. Solana has 2, Radium and Serum are decentralized exchanges as well.
Isn't Soulflare? Or sorry,
that's a wallet.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
So Ken Cahill asks, that was a good one. Toby, you should arbitrage Luna, get 30 or 39%. Wow. That's really interesting. I'll check that out. Thank you. That's cool. There's so many different ways to park your cash and jump into liquidity pools or farming or whatever. It's really like I've got quite a few coins, like an array of coins, and it's really hard sometimes to actually keep track of all of them, especially when I'm like, okay, so I take the Luna and then I do the B Luna and then I can farm that or whatever. But that seems pretty cool.
Nathaniel Schroeder is asking, is there a video on Thor chain? No, but if you just do a web search, how to use Thor chain, you can also lend on Thor chain as well and get some passive income too. If you go to thorchain.org, there's a lot, again, of helpful information, how to get it set up. I haven't done a video personally, but it's because there's so many people who do tutorials. And for me, it's just like, it's already done. What am I going to say that's going to be completely new or different about that? It's so kind of, work smarter, not harder.
Larry McGuire says, so you renounce your U.S. citizenship. Why does it matter no matter where you are if you are decentralized? Well, essentially, the U.S. does tax you on your global income. And I think it's really important to have multiple citizenships just in case something like this happens in the EU, where they're just starting to test the waters on banning Bitcoin or banning proof of work or banning proof of stake. Eventually, that's what I see coming. Yeah. So if you have like multiple citizenships, you're essentially you're fine. You can skirt, you can just duck and get out of here.
I mean, for us, we're able to be nimble, and we are both on the same page of how we want our lives to be. And so that decision was definitely copacetic for the both of us. And that decision was like the first step in being nimble for us, was to cut ties with a big, powerful government like the U.S.
What do you think of pro Coinbase? I'm pretty much against Coinbase ever since they joined the WEF.
Yeah.
If you know what that is, I don't want to get shadow banned or whatever, so I'm not going to say it. But WEF, check it out. Yeah, they kind of join with them, and I don't really support anything that actually joins them.
Agree.
Yeah.
Also, I think, what was it, in 2018 when it came out that they were partnering with CipherTrace or some kind of a blockchain tracking company, like voluntarily, and then selling that data to whoever wanted it. Greek island of Cyprus is crypto tax free. That's awesome. They got to go to Greece.
Question, which is better, CBD or CBDC? Probably CBD oil is pretty good for you.
Yeah. No, seriously, I was always kind of skeptical of it. And sometimes my wrist locks up and it's really painful. And I put some on there, just massaged it, and 5 minutes later, I forgot it was even hurt. It worked pretty good. So
hi, both. How do I put my BTC to work?
Safely, please. That was what I was talking about with Thor chain. You can not only trade it on a decentralized exchange, your native Bitcoin, you can also lend it there for, what was it, 16%? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was 6%. I don't know. It was, anyway, much better returns than you would for doing like wrapped Bitcoin on Aave. The returns for that one is like 0.05% a year. So yeah, a lot more attractive there. But again, please keep in mind, it is a new project. Their smart contracts are still, having attack vectors found through hackers. Good. It is good in the long term, but you need to keep that in mind when you're deciding how much money to put in there. So gotta balance the risk rewards.
Ether Lana says Greek island of Cyprus is crypto tax free too.
That.
You did. I'm sorry. Okay, that's awesome. I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
I think Nomad Capitalist was covering that. Question, Eric A. When CT Club out of Patreon? So we are trying. So what we have is we have something called the CT Club on Patreon. Yeah. So you get our trade alerts, our portfolio updates, market alerts, everything. And
it's our paid membership group.
Yeah. So if you want to check us out, the link is below. But we are leaving Patreon. We bought the URL learningcrypto.com and it should be up and running this summer. And really looking forward to that. And so, yeah.
Sorry. Yep. Someone asked. Oh, no, what I was going to say is for those of you who are current CT Club members, when that rollout does happen, you guys will have certain perks or maybe a discount for the website as well. Because I think the price might change a little bit just because of what we're building. It's going to be a lot more information, a lot more accessibility. So, yeah, that's going to be happening.
Dave D, if you are decentralized, it doesn't matter where you are exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but you'd have to be very meticulous about that and consistent with that.
Yeah.
So that's the only trade-off. But definitely, I think it's very much a possibility. Also, Adam says Coinbase is going against everything crypto stands for. Yes. The irony of that is that Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, says if he could do it all again, he would do a decentralized exchange. And yet he keeps making these decisions. So
actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
I don't really like the guy. Yeah. Whatever. But I mean, he was good, better than Mountain Gox, I guess.
Yeah. Someone's asking, what's the incentive to join the CT Club? Again, we give you access to our personal crypto portfolio. We show you the percentages of the coins that we hold. When or if we're doing trades, we make it alert for you guys. Also, you have access to special channels on our Discord. We have a bunch of public channels on our Discord. Again, if you want to join the Discord, the link is down below in the video description. But also, if you're a CT Club, on top of that, you can have special channels access as well. And there's also classes there.
Shahid Ali says, what do you say about Render?
Yeah.
Render is an amazing project. It's just getting trashed because of Bitcoin. So once that's over with and once we can have another run, rendering is really important. And especially with movies, it's I think a $2 billion business or $200 billion business. It's a ridiculous amount. And decentralized rendering is the way of the future, in my opinion. It's kind of like IFPS, Interplanetary File System. Mm-hmm. So, transferring data across the world instantly instead of waiting for it to download and stuff. It can be decentralized. So, yeah, really like that.
One last question here. Yes. Hey, guys, when using Anchor Protocol, do you add insurance to your transaction? Yes.
Yes.
It's an 3% cost for the insurance
for keeping
maintaining the peg.
Maintaining the peg. Yes.
So is that necessarily like guaranteeing your investment, or is that just making sure that the UST isn't going to crash?
It's essentially keeps your investment at 1-to-1. You know how for instance when we were in Tether a while back and all that FUD came out. Yeah, so it freaks you out. You're like, oh my gosh, and there was nothing no insurance, no nothing. Now we have Nexus Mutual, we have Anchor has a insurance fund as well. So there's things you can do now to protect yourself, and it's so worth it because think about it. If you're getting 19.4% on Anchor Protocol, why wouldn't you put 3% on the side to go ahead and do that? It's kind of crazy. Why wouldn't you? So
3 is a crowd. Your question: what happens to your Ledger wallet if Ledger company shuts down? I did a video on that.
Doesn't matter.
Do a search with what happens if Ledger shuts down or closes in Crypto Tips on YouTube, it should show up.
Do you, Eric A, question, do you guys use any crypto debit cards? No, not right now. We actually pay through our wallets. Essentially, for instance, when we go to Indonesia, we'll be paying with Tether.
Yeah, we're like Bitcoin. Crypto evangelists wherever we go. Yeah. And we try to get people personally to start accepting crypto. Yeah. And that's something that everyone should be doing. So
yeah.
There you go, guys.
Essentially,
there's your project for the week. Let's try to get one person accepting crypto in your neighborhood.
Will we hit $60,000 this year? Maybe, but whatever. Who knows?
It's only March.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? People are like, okay, we're going back to 10,000,
A year ago,
14,000.
Bitcoin had its first 50% drop, and then it went to 69,000.
Exactly.
So who knows?
No, and all these traders.
Not to inspire too much FOMO.
There's not one trader. I mean, like, I can't imagine being a trader and making your living off of trading during this market. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just whatever. Keep in mind, 98% of 99% of traders lose money.
Yeah. Who's gone quiet this past month?
Oh, a lot of traders. Lots of traders.
Pay attention to that. Pay attention to the people who are only there in the good times, and when things get hard and it's not an easy answer, who goes quiet?
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Carlos Santos, what decentralized exchanges do you use?
A lot of them. We use Uniswap, Serum, Radium, Trader
Solana,
Joe. That's with AVAX.
AVAX,
The other two were Solana. I haven't used Thor chain yet because I haven't needed to. Yeah. A few of them whenever we need to. But.
Anyways, cool.
Okay.
Guys, it's been 36 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And if you do like stuff like this, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will continue doing my short clips every week, pretty much as I can, because I'm like addicted to Twitter. I love learning and I love sharing what I learn as well. Especially, I know what's important in this space. You know, I've been in this space for a long time, so I know what people are going to want to hear and what actually affects people's money. Anyways, that's all. And Mauricio Martinez, thank you.
Thank you for the super chat. He says EU just voted on the ban of proof of work, 32 against, 24 in favor. Yep. That's what happened.
Yep.
Thank you for
awesome.
That announcement again.
But keep in mind, we are not out of the woods whatsoever. Keep in mind that they will continue to put stuff like this. It is the boiling frog scenario for the crypto market, especially in the EU, and it will bounce and so on. So anyways, guys, thank you.
See you guys again next week, and we'll be putting out videos every day until then. So if you're not subscribed, you should be. So we'll see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.